On April 2, 2024, the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine attacked the assembly plant for Shad drones in Tatarstan, 1,000 kilometers away from Ukraine. Aircraft type kamikaze UAVs attacked the drone assembly plant and other facilities within the territory of the Special Economic Zone Alabuga in the Tatarstan and Nizhny-Kamensk. In the city of Yelabuga, Republic of Tatarstan, Russian Federation, there operates an assembly plant for the production of Iranian kamikaze drones Shad. It is reported that the drone involved was an UJ-22 Airborne, a Ukrainian strike complex from Ukrjet. On board there is at least 20 kg of explosives, wingspan of 4.6 meters, and a flight range previously recorded up to 800 kilometers. It has been in service with the armed forces of Ukraine since 2020. However, prior to this incident, there were no known cases of such drone flying a distance of more than 800 kilometers. Hey, my name is Alex, and this is a quick update of the Russian-Ukrainian war from the perspective of someone living within it. As it is turned out later, in Tatarstan, another UAV, or UAVs, the exact number is not reported, attacked the Tenneco plant in the Nizhny-Kamensk. The distance from the Ukrainian border to this oil refinery is just over 1100 kilometers. Thus, the means of attack by the armed forces of Ukraine reached a distance exceeded 1000 kilometers. Tenneco is the Russian oil refinery enterprise, including a complex of oil refining and petrochemical plant under construction in the city of Nizhny-Kamensk, Republic of Tatarstan, Russia. A Ukrainian long-range drone hit the primary oil processing unit at the Nizhny-Kamensk oil refinery, causing a fire. The capacity of this unit was 8 million tons of oil, which is 2.6% of Russia's total annual refining. So this is a very juicy target. While the effectiveness of hitting a drone assembly plant can be debated, well, a drone flew in exposed with up to 50 kg of explosives at some point. It's hardly critical for a plant with large areas and numerous buildings. But in the case of an oil refinery, it is much worse. Firstly, it is oil, gasoline and other petroleum derivatives, all very explosive. Secondly, as numerous videos show, drones precisely target the distillation tower of the oil product transfer. It is a market with a triangle and circle. This is a complex, highly technological structure made up of intricate pipe networks, cylinders and other parts that cannot be quickly repaired. And this tower is a critical part of the entire plant. If it is taken out of commission, all other plants become useless. So, obviously, the attacks will continue, and this is not the last target for Ukrainian drones. As seen on the graph, there are still 15 undamaged, well, so far undamaged, oil refineries within the approximate reach of Ukrainian UAVs. However, in Russia, besides UAV attacks, oil refineries are also being shut down for other reasons, vainly referred to as unscheduled maintenance. In simple terms, due to some emergency situations they have to be dealt with. This is exactly what's happening now with the Astrakhan oil refinery, which suddenly stopped supplying fuel to consumers. Industrial degradation due to the sanction does not just disappear. Much of the processing equipment is imported, at least high-tech components and assemblies, meaning their regular maintenance is significantly hindered. But that is not all. In the Russian city of Rostov, for unknown reason, an explosion occurred at a grain terminal. Local social media accounts are sharing videos of the fire that broke out after the explosion. Something also happened in the Moscow region, at one of the electrical substations. Several districts of the city were left without power, and electric transport stopped. According to official reports, there was a short circuit at the facility which led to a fire. Seems like they are having quite a few accidents at substations lately. It is worth also noting that Russians are actively bombing Ukraine with their drones as well. They use drones, rockets and shells, basically everything they can. Probably only nuclear weapons have not been used so far. Thus, in March alone, according to Zelensky report, Russia launched over 400 rockets, 600 Shad drones and 3,000 guided bombs at Ukraine. Peaceful Ukrainian cities and villages suffer daily from Russian terror, which the Russians hitting especially hard on the front line and border areas. Among them is the city of Kharkiv with a population of 1.5 million. So Kharkiv, one of the first, has to actively build kindergartens and schools underground to protect children from Russian missiles. Indeed, in Kharkiv, the construction of the first underground school for 900 children has been completed. Similar schools are planned to be built in various districts of the city. During this night, the Russians struck Donbass with 3 guided anti-aircraft missiles S-300 and also used 4 UAVs Shad-type drones from the area of Primorsko-Akhtinsk, Russia Federation. All Shads were destroyed by units of mobile fire groups of the Ukrainian armed forces. The energy complex of Ukraine is also subject to active bombardment. Here is how one of the thermal power plants looks from the inside after the massive attack on March 22nd and 29th. The company claims that 5 out of 6 thermal power plants are seriously damaged and 80% of general capacity is lost. And now let's take a look at the situation on the front line. On the Kupiansk-Liman front section, positional battles continue east of Terne and in the Serebryansky forest. Here is Ukrainian armed forces conducted a total breakdown by artillery of a Russian armored column consisting of tanks and BMPs, at least 6 units in total, moving towards the settlement of Terne. This is why artillery and shells are so important, FPV and artillery, and coordination. That is how synergy should be. Meanwhile, night drones of 20th Azov Brigade destroyed the TOS-1 Solntsepek system of the Russians. The rear system was heading towards position of the defense forces in the Kreminski direction. The ammunition of the machine detonated Avdiivka direction. In the Berdychi and Semyonivka area, there remains a high pace of combat operation. Battles in the Great Zone continue. Southwest of Umansk and north of Vodiane, the enemy continues attempt to improve tactical position along the forest belts. Another video of repelling the Russian assault by the fighters of the 25th Brigade with the support of the 68th Brigade farther west in this area. The situation remains very difficult as the enemy constantly pushes, and our fighters with great sacrifices and efforts try to prevent the enemy from succeeding. The video once again demonstrates that our fighters are an example to the whole world. And here comes the French Croissant AASM Hammer to the Russians on their position in Tonenki. I would like to know the shortest shoulder from the moment of announcing the transfer of this missile to the actual application on the front line. Oh, the Russians seem to have seriously upset Macron in Africa. And this is the attack through the eyes of the Russians. In the frame is a Russian retreating T-90M, which seems to have been hit by our FPVs. The operator of the video, with genuine concern about what awaits him ahead, says, "Damn." The village of Vodiane has fallen under enemy control. North of Novomikhailivka, battles continue for the Dacha settlement Mashinostроители. Shadow unit destroyed 3 tanks and 1 BMPs of the enemy. However, part of the enemy assault group managed to break through into the eastern part of the Dacha settlement. The situation is being clarified. It seems that this is one of the episodes from this battle. Chasiv Yar direction. In the area of Bogdanivka and east of the Listviny forest, the enemy continues attacks with small assault groups, no significant changes. In Ivanivsk, Russian forces have occupied the southern part of the village. Advancement on the front with up to 550 meters and a depth of up to 720 meters. Ukrainian armed forces blew up a bridge in this village using a robot, significantly complicating the logistic of the Russians. Raitel S is a ground robot from the developers at Brave One company. The military use it as a mobile warhead, carrying anti-tank mines or a combat module. It operates remotely, so the operator from a safe place can detonate the enemy tank or bunker. East of Klishchiivka, Ukrainian drone operators attacked the enemy on the eastern outskirts of the reservoir cascade. On the rest of the front, significant changes have not been recorded, but this does not mean that nothing is happening there. Thus, the reconnaissance unit Ronin of the 65th Separate Mechanized Brigade destroyed a Chinese golf cart and a military truck on the Robotinsky direction. The Chinese was destroyed in the area of the village of Rivne. Furthermore, fighters of the 1st Assault Unit of the Special Purpose Center Omega are destroying Russian army equipment using ATGM Stugna and FGM Javelin. In this way, the fighters avenged the fallen commanders Oleg Grama and Anatoly Loyuka. The topic of drones on the front line remains and will remain a priority. Recently, there have been more cases of using ground drones by both sides. For instance, the 23rd Separate Rifle Battalion of the 63rd Brigade, using ground kamikaze drones, infiltrate the trench position of the Russian and remotely detonate themselves. It is likely the same robot, Raitel S, that blew up the bridge on the Avdiivka direction. Meanwhile, the use of various types of aerial drones is not only decreasing but constantly increasing. According to the spokesperson of the Ukrainian Air Forces, Ilya Evlash, recently Ukrainian forces shot down a Russian drone worth 7 million. This refers to the strike reconnaissance drone Forepost. It is an analog of Bayraktar, as it can conduct reconnaissance and carry 2 missiles or other weapons for destroying ground targets. Ordinary FPV drones have become commonplace. No frontline area is without them. In a video from the enemy side, a quiet bike driver narrowly avoids an attack by Ukrainian FPV drone. Because of drones, both sides strive to improve the protection of their armor and soldiers. Often homemade solutions of poor quality are encountered. For instance, the destroyed Russian BMP-2 with additional high-tech protection, steel sheets from a fence and bricks. It is unclear what the bricks were supposed to protect against, but it is evident that they failed to do so, as the BMP was disabled. To understand the scale of drone usage, according to the report from the commander of the strike UAV platoon with call sign Magyar, their platoon registered 100 drones flight per day in the area of Krinky alone, and this is only several tens of kilometers given the total length of the front of approximately 1000 kilometers. Regarding the losses of equipment, it is now visually confirmed that Russia lost the largest number of BMPs in March 2024, over the last 17 months, 2062 units. The numbers continue to rise, with previously undocumented losses being investigated. An example is yesterday's report by OSINT researcher Andrew Perpetua. On April 1, 2024, Russia lost a record number of BMPs, 34 units. And to conclude this segment, I will mention the popular Russian military blogger Maxim Kalashnikov, who shared his impression of his trip to the front. According to him, the Russian military are already at the breaking point and do not understand the meaning of what is happening. They all hate the incompetent command and demand purges of the generals. Despite the significant losses, the situation on the front has reached an impasse, and there is no visible way out. And that wraps up today's video. If you found this information helpful or somehow insightful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!